Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, the university releases a new policy and has another in the works.
And a student's kitchen goes up in flames. Find out the extent of the damage.
Also, we have an update on the Quinnipiac Sports Center.
All this and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Live from Studio 125, this is the Q30 Newscast.
Hello and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Chris Stacy.
And I'm Carrie Golden. This week, the Quinnipiac Brand Strategies Department issued a new policy on the way in which both students and faculty are allowed to use drones on the campus. The policy is an extra safety measure for the university.
Amy Walker is a journalism professor and teaches the class Journalism and Technology. Her class did a drone demo with Professor Kent Golden, and each student took a turn operating the drone.
You need to have your hands on the remote control to send the drone up in the air and see what that feels like. So that's been a really big part of what we're trying to do, to expose students to drone storytelling and then to expose them to the actual practice of flying a drone.
The Ed McMahon Center on the Quinnipiac campus has 2 drones, and there are 2 staff members that have gotten FAA licenses. The hope is for students to be able to use this equipment to do workshops with faculty. Under the new policy, in order to fly the drones, people on campus need to get permission.
It doesn't keep us from using it for educational purposes by any means. And there's still some permissions we have to go through, and we've been doing that in the past. It adds maybe like an additional form we have to fill out and a question on an insurance certificate, but I don't think it's going to keep us from being able to fly a drone. I actually think it's really smart because, I mean, if you've ever been out and you've seen someone flying a drone randomly in the air, they're a safety concern. They can fall out of the sky, they can hurt you, they aren't supposed to be flown over crowds. And I really think it's important for the university to think about how to keep, drone use in check. So, I'm trying to figure out how we can work with the policy. I don't think it's going to keep us from doing anything for educational purposes.
Amy Walker, as well as Associate Director of Film and Video for Quinnipiac, Peter Gallay, says the drone policy is in place to ensure privacy on the campus property.
Student government has established a 3-phase plan to eventually make campus smoke-free. The school is now moving into phase 2. Krista Delane has the story.
The Student Government Association created a 3-step smoking policy that was approved over a year ago by the university, but are still waiting to see results.
My expectations was that they said that it was going to be at the start of this year. There'd be designated smoking areas on campus. Currently in our handbook, it says that students aren't able to smoke anywhere except designated smoking areas, but there aren't any on campus yet.
In a study conducted by SGA, they found that 5% of students smoke on campus and 90% of students want a new policy.
I know some people are really against secondhand smoke. I personally really hate walking through it. But if those other people don't know where they are and aren't allowed to do it, then I understand why they've kind of made their own areas.
I think that there should be certain areas away from the entrances of buildings too, because if you're walking to class and you're coming right out of a classroom or a building, especially like the communications building, there are seats everywhere, and if people are smoking there, then that's just not appealing walking to class. You're walking through a cloud of smoke, and then you're going to smell like smoke the entire time you're in class as well.
Quinnipiac was expected to assign smoking areas by August 1st, but is yet to do so.
This is a great idea. This is something that we need, especially as a predominantly health science school. To ignore the repercussions of smoking is just ridiculous, and everybody fully acknowledge that. It's just they're slow in implementing it.
With SGA and many members of the Quinnipiac community in support of having designated smoking areas, it has everyone wondering why these areas have not been assigned or enforced by the university. With Q30 News, I'm Krista Delane.
It's Latinx Heritage Month, which means the Department of Cultural and Global Engagement is hosting events to celebrate the culture, lives, and achievements of the Latinx people. One of the events included a discussion led by Gabby Rivera, a critically acclaimed young adults novelist. Other events are planned for the month include panel discussions, spoken word poetry, and Copacabana.
Revolution Sushi Noodle has been very popular amongst students. Its official ribbon cutting ceremony was this week. Chartwell's employees handed out free sushi and fortune cookies to students, and inside the fortune cookies were chances to win even more free sushi. Those winning tickets can be redeemed at any point throughout the semester. There's a new sorority on campus this fall. Tri-Delta consultants have been holding events throughout the past couple of weeks to recruit founding members. We spoke to Christina Young about Tri-Delta and its philanthropy.
Tri-Delta is the newest sorority to come to Quinnipiac, and we value true self-sacrifice and friendship. Those are our three main values, but we also love our partnership with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
The Panhellenic Council is excited to add this new sorority on campus.
If you drove in Hamden recently, you might have noticed the roads are being improved for the upcoming fall season. Christina Vitas spoke with students about how they feel about the work being done.
Route 10, or otherwise known as Whitney Avenue, has been going through major reconstruction these past few weeks, and students have been affected by the pavement facelift.
I feel like they definitely could have chosen a better time to do all that construction and stuff, and everybody's just waiting for the lines to be put up on the street so that people won't be merging in and out of the lanes. I feel like it's definitely accident prone, especially with college kids.
Whitney Avenue may have been paved, but drivers are left to navigate this heavily populated route with little to no traffic lines.
So we came back to school this year and the roads are unpaved, which already made it unsafe for driving. I think it's even worse now without the lines because cars are just everywhere.
So I live on York, so I'm always driving down to campus, and it's really annoying when I can't see the lines in the road because I don't know if I'm actually in a lane or if I'm just driving down the middle of the street, and it's kind of scary.
Overall, the town of Hamden is currently in the midst of 11.5 miles of reconstruction, adding up to a $2 million investment on the reported 55 local roads. Whitney Ave is said to be completed by September 22nd, but the rest of the Hamden roads are scheduled to be completed by the 1st of November. With Q30 News, I'm Christina Vitas.
Well, Carrie, fall begins this Friday.
That's right, Chris. Let's get over to Brooke for an update on the weather we can expect in the coming days. Brooke?
Thanks, guys. We have had some pretty crazy weather lately, but there's sunny days ahead. I'll have all that and more later on the show with your full weather forecast.
Coming up after the break, a fire in a York Hill room leaves a kitchen badly damaged. Find out how it happened.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad, in your room,
or heading to class,
tune in to Q30 News.
for stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas. Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Bobcat Breakdown, presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network. We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins? When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Welcome back. A kitchen fire broke out in the Crescent Residence Hall on Sunday night. It displaced an entire group of students. John McMahon has a story.
The York Hill campus was anything but quiet Sunday night after a stovetop caught fire in the Crescent Dorm building. The Hamden Police and Fire Department were dispatched to the scene where luckily no one was hurt. Q30 caught up with one of the residents living in the room to get more details of what really happened.
One of my suite mates was cooking something on the stove in our suite's kitchen, and it involved oil, and he doesn't really know how it happened, but he had a lid on the pot, and when he took the lid off, the whole thing just erupted in flames.
Fortunately, the fire stayed within the kitchen area, and the residents were able to put out the fire before Hamden Fire Department showed up. The residents of the room are temporarily moved until the room is repaired. For Q30 News, I'm John McMahon.
The U.S. and World Report has ranked Quinnipiac top in Connecticut and 5th in the North in the best colleges for veterans category. Quinnipiac offers on-campus services for veterans, which includes on-campus counseling, tutoring, along with a veterans lounge. We spoke to Director of Veterans and Military Affairs about the rankings and what it makes Quinnipiac stand out from other colleges.
The leadership of the school, the deans, the faculty, the staff, the student population that aren't veterans are accepting of those non-traditional students like our veterans.
Constitution Day was Monday, and junior Joe Yasso was outside the Student Center making sure students knew about it. Yasso and other members of the Quinnipiac Political Science Association were handing out pocket-sized constitutions. The event was organized in order to celebrate the formation and signing of the Constitution. Free snacks were also given out.
To try to make it a little bit more interesting, I requested a microphone and a speaker from Information Services and just kind of stood outside the Student Center all day and yelled at people. When people weren't taking constitutions, I would open the Constitution to a random page and start reading from it. And I ended up getting kind of an audience. There was one professor who was sitting right over here just to sit and listen to me yell at people. And he said it was better than him watching TV. So that was a big compliment. I didn't think I was that entertaining, but I tried to make it a little bit more fun than the traditional event that a university would put on for it, which is like lectures about Constitution Day or like what's the importance of the 14th Amendment or something very specific like that. I just wanted it to be fun for people and hopefully make sure they didn't throw out the pocket constitutions.
It's time to get political. Let's go to John Welsh for this week's political update. John, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Chris. President Donald Trump visited the UN yesterday to address the General Assembly. He spoke about North Korea and the United States joint military drills with South Korea, as well as the Iranian nuclear deal and Trump's stance on the state of foreign affairs. In his speech, Trump maintained his administration will put America first and will take measures towards anyone who threatens the United States. Trump ended his speech by calling for a great reawakening of nations, in which all nations would push for self-governance and a preservation of cultures. The president will meet with UN representatives in the coming weeks. A number of high-profile Democrats have expressed concern over the way the party is holding itself. Bernie Sanders has maintained that the current model is, quote, not working, as shown by the Republicans holding over 2/3 of America's governance. The Rasmussen Polling Institute has found 58% of Democrats feel their party is in need of new leadership. While touring for her new book titled What Happened, Hillary Clinton said that her campaign did not properly explain her stance on various issues. Sanders has suggested reaching out to independents as a way to strengthen the party going forward. Earlier this summer, the USS Fitzgerald was involved in a collision that killed 7 crew members and injured 3 others. Senator John McCain led a hearing to discuss the loss of life, the extent of the damages and cost for repairs, all of which were said to be, quote, too high. The assumed cost of the damages is estimated at $600 million. That does not include the cost of operating substitute ships until repairs are finished. The Fitzgerald collided with the South Korean container ship ACX Crystal off the shores of Japan. The Fitzgerald was rescued by the USS Dewey. That's all for your political updates. I'm John Welsh.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Whether you're on the quad, in your room,
or heading to class,
tune in to Q30 News.
for stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas. Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Good morning and welcome to the morning after. Coming up on Hashtag That, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Another hurricane has hit the Caribbean. Will Hurricane Maria impact us as well? Brooke Riley has your full weather forecast. What can you tell us, Brooke?
Chris, Kerry, thanks guys. We have had some pretty gross weather lately. The leftovers of Hurricane Jose heading our way. It really wasn't that bad though. We had a little bit of rain today, some clouds, but it's starting to clear up. We have some sun ahead. Tonight, 65 and cloudy. Tomorrow, 80 degrees with a little bit of sun, partly cloudy. And tomorrow night, we're starting to get a little chillier, 57 degrees, but clouds. Looking across the state of Connecticut tonight, it's going to be 69 degrees in Danbury, 68 in Torrington, 68 in Killingly, and going over to the coast, 70 degrees in Hartford, and 74 in New London, 71 in New Haven. Looking ahead at our 7-day forecast, we have some sun in our future. It's going to be 80 degrees Thursday with partly cloudy skies, not too bad out there. Friday, the first day of fall, it's going to be 76. Not looking like fall weather to me. That's more summer weather, so summer might be around a little bit longer. Partly cloudy skies. Saturday and Sunday, it's looking gorgeous. If you're looking to get one more beach day in, that's the day to do it. 82 degrees Saturday, 83 Sunday, all sun. Monday, although we'll be in class, we still have more sun, 82 degrees. In between classes, I recommend taking a break out on the quad and doing your homework out there. And Tuesday, we're still in the 80s with 81 degrees and partly cloudy skies. That's all I have for this week's weather forecast. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
This is Sports Pause.
Are you concerned with the 0-2 start for this team?
Right here, top of the circle, again, rips it past the grassroots goalie.
What will breaking the record mean for the program himself? I mean, 138 wins.
There's the tough shot. What a nice play by Mikey Dixon.
He's good in transition. Just a really dynamic scorer he can create for himself.
And now, Emma, it's time for the top 5 plays of the week.
Coming up on Hashtag That, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Good morning and welcome to the morning after.
Welcome back. Kayla Heavey is here to update you on the latest from the entertainment world. What do you have for us, Kayla?
Thanks, Chris. There is a lot going on in the entertainment world, so let's jump right into it. Selena Gomez has revealed that she has been recovering from a kidney transplant. The singer and actress has been suffering from lupus, which caused the need for this transplant. Gomez's good friend and also famous actress, Francia, donated a kidney for the transplant. Gomez first shared the news last week when she took photos post-surgery. Her mother, Andy TV, posted an message on social media as well, sharing she was scared and helpless while her daughter was going through surgery. Gomez has released new music, and her fans were wondering why she hasn't promoted it yet, as much as she usually does. But she addressed in her Instagram post, she said that she has had to put her health first. Hopefully Selena Gomez has had a quick and successful recovery. Hurricane Harvey and Irma have had a huge impact on people in the U.S. and Caribbean. In response, a list of A-list celebrities came together to raise money for these victims in an hour-long telethon. It was broadcast on 4 networks and included celebrities like Demi Lovato, Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, and so many more. The telethon was originally going to benefit victims of Hurricane Harvey in Texas. It was later expanded to help those affected by Irma as well. These celebrities raised more than $44 million. Apple was one of the donors, giving $5 million. This event brought not only celebrities together, but the viewers as well. Next, Leonardo DiCaprio was in Connecticut. Yes, you heard me right. I was shocked too. Leonardo DiCaprio was in New Haven Tuesday night as a speaker for a climate change conference at Yale University. DiCaprio's visit closed out this 2-day conference put on by the Kerry Initiative, a program that was founded earlier in 2017 by John Kerry. Kerry was the former Secretary of State and also a Yale graduate. DiCaprio and Kerry made jokes at his famous role in the Titanic, saying, quote, "Who better to talk about climate change than a man who has witnessed an iceberg breaking apart in the middle of the ocean," end quote. The actor discussed the significance of climate change, and DiCaprio's name brought a large crowd to Yale. And finally, whether you're obsessed with Netflix or you're obsessed with Lady Gaga, this story is for you. Gaga has created a feature-length Netflix documentary dedicated to a year in her life. The documentary, titled Gaga 5'2", opens with the star's performance at the Super Bowl. It also talks about confidence and her fame. Also discusses some more serious issues in Lady Gaga's life. She's had health concerns and even postponed her European tour. To find out what's been going on in her life the past year and so much more, you'll have to watch her new documentary when it comes to Netflix September 22nd. That's all I have for the entertainment news this week. I'm Kayla Heavey. Back to Chris and Carrie at the desk.
Still ahead on our broadcast tonight, your top 5 sports plays of the week.
We'll be right back.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad, in your room,
Or heading to class.
tune in to Q30 News.
For stories by student journalists you can trust.
We are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas. Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network. We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins? When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
It's been a busy week for the Bobcats this week in sports, with conference play right around the corner. But don't worry, we've got Dylan Fearon here to bring you up to speed on all things Quinnipiac athletics. Dylan, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Chris, that's right. High spirits today for the men's soccer team at practice. That's despite a slow start to the season. 6 games, just 2 goals and 1 win. That's for a couple of reasons. All-MAC forward Eamon Whalen has a groin injury. He's missed 2 games. Starters Will Pastore and Simon Hellinger have also missed time and are limited in practice this week. But the Bobcats have a chance to do something special this weekend. Number 16 New Hampshire comes to Hamden on Saturday, which means now it's time to grind.
It's about picking the spirits up, but also it's about working, and that's what we're doing. We're working at the end there. We've got a full week, so we're putting in the fitness, getting the fitness levels up, and as much as it is fun, we know it's business time, and we know Mac's coming up, and we need to start sharpening up on things.
We've been having fun all year. You know, we sometimes lose sight of the fact that this is still a game, and these players have played their whole lives enjoying the game, and just because the pressure intensifies a bit and you're playing it at a higher level, that doesn't mean we have to take the fun out of it.
New Hampshire is the last tune-up for Quinnipiac before MAC play starts next week. All right, let's go around campus and check out some scores. It was a great week for Quinnipiac women's sports. Volleyball happy to be back on the East Coast. The Bobcats split a weekend series against 2 New York teams, a sweep against Manhattan and a 5-set loss to Iona. Women's soccer beat St. Peter's. That's not a typo. 11-0 in Jersey City. Great way to start MAC play for them. Field hockey beats Georgetown to get the Big East slate going, and rugby bounces back and dominates Norwich. New changes up at York Hill. The TD Bank Sports Center is no more. No, the building still exists. It's the name that's gone. Quinnipiac's sponsorship contract with TD Bank expired and is not going to be renewed. Matthew Doherty is the corporate communications manager of TD Bank, and he said, quote, TD Bank's naming rights agreement with Quinnipiac University Sports Center expired earlier this year, and we have since explored other sponsorship and marketing opportunities. Goes on to say, quote, through our agreement with Quinnipiac University, we built an excellent relationship with the university community, and we are proud to have been a sponsor. That contract expired June 30th, and until a new one is found, it will just be called the Quinnipiac Sports Center. Pretty fitting. And finally tonight, the top 5 plays of the week. It's women's soccer heavy, and that's where we start. You never forget your first goal, and this is Lauren Azzolino's. Good cross by Ali Grunstein to set it up. One of 11 goals for Quinnipiac against St. Peter's. Number 4, it's volleyball, Michelle Cuervo. That's fun to say. She's going to get the kill here with authority. QU sweeps Manhattan. Back to the pitch for number 3, Ali Grunstein with the goal, but Nadia Gill with the work. Dribbles past defender after defender in a loss at Harvard. We stay there for number 2. It's overtime and a freshman-senior connection past the diving Olivia Majszewski. Harvard wins 2-1. And that was great, but this is better. Rugby's Alona Mar goes Marshawn Lynch on everyone. You can't stop me. Gets by 4 defenders for the try as Quinnipiac beats Norwich. Great week in sports, and the teams are looking to keep that going as MAC play gets going next week. Chris, Carrie, back to you guys.
With all the crazy weather we've been having around the country, this is something wild. Check this video out.
9 inches of snow fell at the Timberline Lodge and ski area in Oregon this week. Summer has not even officially ended yet. People who work there say it's pretty normal for them to get snow in the beginning of September.
So everyone, find all of our stories from tonight's show on our website, Q30TV.com.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 News for updates throughout the week.
From all of us here at Q30, I'm Carrie Golden.
And I'm Chris Stacy. Thanks for watching, and good night, Bobcats.